I read in an interview, and you said, my greatest weakness is probably that I don't work hard enough. I don't have the work ethic. You seem to have done very well, though, with a poor work ethic.
Yeah, it's interesting that, and I think about that a lot because I've got teenage kids, and you try and work out, you know, what advice to pass on. And in my head, I don't, you know, I'm not a hard worker in my head, but I do work incredibly hard, but on stuff that I love, and I've always worked on stuff that I love, and I think I don't think that's work. And so I'm not great at doing stuff I don't want to do, but I guess lots of people aren't. But yeah, I feel like I've been able to build a career where I've done stuff that I enjoy, and I found the immense fortune to find something that I was good at, and that's what I've done. And so yeah, I did, you know, but in between times, I don't actively seek out extra work. I'm not thinking, what else could I do? What else could I do?
Yeah, because you need your downtime.
I love it. I love shutting the door and sticking. Well, I put the TV on, but you know, that's what, you know, I love. I literally love not working. If I look at a week and I've got nothing in the diary, I'm never happier. I often ask, what's the best show you never made? And you know, you pitch lots and lots of things. There was always an idea I loved that we never made, which was a dating show, but for men to find friends. Because I think men find it quite hard to find friends.
Yes.
There was a film, there's a French film that it was, we nicked the idea off.
Oh, my friend the idiot.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was. Yeah.
I Love You Man's a bit like that. Have you seen I Love You Man?
I haven't seen that.
Underrated film, Paul Rudd, but it's not dissimilar to that kind of. He needs to find a friend.
So what do I do? How do I meet friends? If you see a cool-looking guy, strike up a conversation and ask him on a man date, okay? You know what I mean? No. Casual lunch or after-work drinks. You're not taking these boys to see The Devil Wears Prada. Oh, God, I love that movie.
But men do find it difficult, especially men going to new towns and stuff. So, you know, we just came up with this format where you made it like a dating show, in that you go on a few kind of buddy dates, and, you know, is he going to ring afterwards? Is he not going to ring? What does he want to hang out? And you know, it sounds trite, but I think there's a real, like most good formats, there's something really deep at the bottom of it, which is that kind of male loneliness and that inability to kind of feel comfortable in each other's presence, which I thought would make it a really interesting watch.
Well, also you do get a lot of blokes who they can't seem to have women as friends because they see women as objects of affection, a sexual being, and and so men, they can only have male friends. And it's a bit odd that, because I grew up, especially I think if you go to college or university, you're just surrounded, you gravitate to like-minded people, not like-minded blokes or like-minded girls.
No, I understand. Listen, most of my close friends, almost without exception, are women, you know, and always have been. But so listen, perhaps we're literally just talking about my issue here.
No.
Perhaps that's why no one wanted to make the show. So go, I think that's just you.
Just thinking of, just having mentioned some films throughout our tete-a-tete, there are two films I genuinely think are hilarious and extremely underrated. Can I run them past you?
Yes, please.
First up is Step Brothers.
Brilliant film.
Isn't it?
There's a scene in that where they're playing around with a gun. Is that right? Is that Step Brothers?
Oh no, that's the other guys. No, hold on.
Anyway, yeah, Step Brothers, to John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell. I love Step Brothers because we don't have the language to properly work out what comedy films are good in this country, because they're not taken seriously. A comedy film, whereas people who work in comedy, and you know, this floor where we are now is Zephyr trying to make all of our comedy shows. You know how difficult it is, because it's the hardest thing of all. And when someone does a Step Brothers or something like, or a Best in Show, or one of these films, or Team America World Police, which I think might be unrivaled in the world of filmmaking, it doesn't. No one you don't win an Oscar with them, stuff like that. Step Brothers, I would give an Oscar. I don't know what won the Oscar that year. Probably something rubbish about.
And hopefully that would,
30s America.
If that film did get an Oscar, some bizarre way in retrospect, it would mean more room for activities.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. It's such a good film. Do you know what? I even saw that film the other day. Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg.
The latest one they did.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I've not seen that.
You know what? It's just a really good film.
But can I talk about the other guys first? Because the other guys was the first film that they did together.
Yeah.
That is just so special. I think the kind of titles that you flick through on Amazon Prime or Netflix where you think, oh yeah, it's that kind of American film, there's not much, there's probably some coarseness in it, it's not, but they're so well written, they are so tightly scripted.
I agree.
They are genuinely so funny. Steve Coogan and the other guys, what a great point he played. You know, he keeps giving them tickets for things just to lead them off the set.
Gentlemen, you have a choice. 'Mamma Mia or Jersey Boys. 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 'Mamma
Fantastic! You're so unbelievable! Damn it! You did it again. No more tickets.
Mr. Urshan, I tried to keep them in the waiting room.
That's okay, Susan. 2 glacier waters with Mediterranean limes.
No. No more water. We're not here for that.
Oh, I was very much looking forward to having the water.
How great is Jersey, boys?
It's not great. It's fantastic. You totally undersold it. The pageantry, the costumes. Wow, what a musical. Hey.
I would also say 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street are terrific films. There's a bit in 22 Jump Street where Channing Tatum, who was brilliant at comedy, I mean, really good, and he says the chief has given us complete Kate Blanchett on this one. I think, well, that's you know what, where else are you getting a line that funny?
And how many actors can be an authentic wrestler and a good comedy persona?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's
acting. He is great, Channing Tatum. He can literally do everything. Like is there anyone in the world who doesn't like Channing Tatum?
Well, I tell you what, if you don't like him, get in touch. We're on YouTube. There's a comments box. Tell us what you don't like about Channing Tatum.
I might give him a ring, see if he wants to come play pool.
Well, your celebrity status is such that you probably could do that. Now, here's not a question, but a statement. Okay. Social media, a pretty big deal.
Yeah, in one way it is, and in one way it isn't. It's certainly a big deal in our psychologies now, in our pathologies. We find it very, I think people are finding it quite difficult now, social media. I think it is...
Richard, a great thing for creativity, and in particular, you've used Twitter for the World Cup of Crisps, the World Cup of Christmas films, the World Cup of chocolate, and millions of votes cast each time. Were these ideas you had and you thought, do you know what, it's far easier just to do it on Twitter than television, or write it up as a TV idea?
I mean, it's a tricky one. I mean, listen, you know, I work in television, but I'm an ideas person, I'm a format person, really. That's what I like to do. So you take anything, and as soon as you see... So I did one years ago on Twitter when I have far fewer followers, and you had to count everything up individually. And as soon as polls came out, you think, well, this is absolutely perfect. And I work with a charity called Child's Eye, who I always try and raise money for. I thought this would be a really good way to raise money, and it has been. And we make thousands and thousands through the World Cups, which is fantastic.
Oh, great!
But yeah, so it's great for that. It is really great for that social media. The interesting thing in television is social media still. There's this idea that if you trend on Twitter, this is a big deal, or this is going to be a big deal for ratings. Everyone's talking about this show, XYZ, and it's the same in marketing and advertising and everything. And I just have never seen figures to back this up. You know, I get the overnights every morning, which is the viewing figures for every single show from the night before, and you know, these things don't tally, is my opinion. You know, obviously it's nice if people are talking about your show, and it's nice if, even if only a few people are watching, that they are caring about it and talking about it. But it doesn't impact massively. It doesn't impact massively on brands. It doesn't impact massively on television programs. And we're still in a few years where people are comfortable saying it trended on Twitter, isn't this brilliant? And at some point you've got to work out that, you know what, it's kind of hard not to trend on Twitter if you're a television program, because of the way that the Twitter algorithm works. That's
interesting. So it doesn't necessarily go to views or you know, millions of people watching.
It never seems to. Look, I mean, if you know, Twitter hashtag, you know, Twitter trending would be all the same things all the time. But the algorithm has it been mentioned more this hour than it was last hour, and it's the biggest increase. So if you've done a TV show that no one's ever written about, and it starts at 9 o'clock, every single person who writes about it, you're now massively increasing what the people who talked about the previous hour. So, you know, you trend. You know, Question Time trends every single week. It's on Question Time trends. Top of the Pops on BBC4 trends every single time it's on, because it's got a dedicated group of people. They all talk about it, but it doesn't have any. But it's literally meaningless in terms of the viewing figures. Completely meaningless.
For goodness sake! Do you know what? You're not just a nice man, but you're an interesting man as well.
Well, what if I'm neither? What if it's a mask?
If it is, you wear it well.
Thank you, that's kind.
And as someone who's behind you, I cannot see the edge.
Yeah, you can't see the elastic.
Is there a next subject for a knockout competition, a World Cup? Have you got something lined up?
Yeah, there is, and I'm hopefully going to do one for Comic Relief.
Oh, cool.
We're talking to Comic Relief about doing one live on the night, and I'm also going to do a book of them for next Christmas. With lots of different World Cups to play along with, so lots of different ones. But yeah, there's some really good ones, some really interesting ones. It's amazing how lots of people on Twitter do their own World Cups now, which is absolutely fine, because I didn't invent the World Cup. That was
Jules Rimet, wasn't it?
Jules Rimet, yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was. It probably wasn't, was it?
It's probably just got the trophy named after him. Yeah.
But you know, the things that were chocolate crisp, things where there are brands really work. So I've got a few more lined up. As I say, there's such a good way of raising money for charity, and Betfair always do odds on them, and they give away all of their kind of losing bets to charity, and you know, I do calls to action. So it's lovely. It brings people together. I think people, that's my favourite thing of doing. They are quite hard work to do, but people love them. People argue with each other, and in a really, really good way.
Yeah.
You know, and we live in a society now where everyone's arguing too much about everything, and this is something where we can argue, but it doesn't matter, and that I think is useful.
Can we enjoy the arguments? Can we make the arguments fun? But let's not make those fun arguments escalate into violence.
That's exactly it. And I have to say, during the whole World Cup of chocolate, there were only 12 arrests, and that's amazing with over 1.5 million votes. You know, I thought that was very, very impressive, and most of those were for public nudity. Well, what a man does with a bounty bar in public is not for us to say yea or nay about. That's an interesting choice of bar.
Yes, I was from a dark chocolate perspective. I was coming from there.
Okay.
Richard, would you mind if I just spoke to the viewers?
I don't mind at all. Please do.
And please join me as I speak to them. Do please subscribe to our channel. It's very easy to do. Follow us on social media for updates. We've spoken about social media and how important it is. I can let you know who I'm interviewing next, who we're speaking to. Do let us know if you like this video by giving it a thumbs up, maybe 2 thumbs up, or a comment.
I really enjoyed it.
I did too, but I've got a vested interest. Richard Osman, it's been a pleasure being behind you and talking to you. Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you, Dougie.